In 1 Kings chapter 3, Solomon, after worshipping God, goes to sleep and has a dream. In that dream, God comes to him and says, "What do you want me to give you? Ask, and it shall be given." And Solomon, after praising God, giving him the glory, comes in humility and says, "I'm like a child. What do I know in ruling all these people?" And so he asks for a hearing and understanding heart and mind. He asks for wisdom. That's like insight and discernment. And what happens immediately after? Well, let's hear the story. Now 2 women came to the king and stood before him. One of them said, "Pardon me, my lord, this woman and I live in the same house, and I had a baby while she was there with me. The 3rd day after my child was born, this woman also had a baby. We were alone. There was no one in the house but the 2 of us. During the night, this woman's son died because she lay on him. So she got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while your servant was asleep. She put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast. The next morning, I got up to nurse my son, but he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning light, I saw that it wasn't the son I had born." The other woman said, "No, the living one is my son, the dead one is yours." But the first one insisted, "No, the dead one is yours and the living one is mine." And so they argued before the king. The king said, "This one says my son is alive and your son is dead, while that one says, no, your son is dead and mine is alive." Then the king said, "Bring me a sword." So they brought a sword for the king, and then he gave the order, "Cut the living child in 2 and give half to one and half to the other." The woman whose son was alive was deeply moved out of her love for her son and said to the king, "Please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him." But the other said, "Neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in 2. Then the king gave his ruling, "Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother." When all Israel heard the verdict the king had given, they held the king in awe because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice. In this most famous of stories, the story that made the people of Israel recognize Solomon's wisdom as one of his first acts, grounded not his brilliance, but his devotion to God. What happened here is the evidence of Solomon seeing beyond the initial argument and into the heart of the matter, and he saw the mother's heart. God does that with us on a daily basis. He sees our hearts. He calls us to examine our own. We need wisdom and discernment for that too. This Sunday, we'll spend time exploring how we can find the King's wisdom. Join us at 10:30 for our service, worship, prayer, and the message as we unpack this chapter.